I don't know about you, but sometimes summer fishing can get almost too hot to handle. You know, as a professional angler and guiding all the time and fishing tournaments, I do go out there and I fish in the hottest part of the year, and you pretty much just work on, you know, you catch what you can. But the honest truth is, a lot of your biggest bass feed in the middle of the summer and throughout the year really at night. So I catch a lot of big fish night fishing, you know, from 9 o'clock at night all the way to 2 or 3 in the morning on a nighttime spinnerbait. Night fishing is a blast. There's night tournaments all over the South. You can enter into them, little small tournaments, and I would guarantee you that 90% of them are won on a nighttime spinnerbait, just like this one. This is a 3/4 ounce spinnerbait with a number 6 Colorado blade on it, and you see how that blade turns, and that blade right there is the key. And why this works so well at night is the thump of that blade. Now, if you were fishing a traditional spinnerbait with a little willow leaf blade on there, it's not going to have the same effect. The key is having that Colorado blade and that big thump on there. You got to have the Colorado blade, because those fish can feel that vibration and sense that vibration with their lateral lines and their sensing pores, even if they can't see the bait, which at night they're not going to be able to see it. They're going all by feel. And so what I want to do with this bait is cast it out there, slow roll that night bait down deep, and just get that blade thumping. You want to just feel that blade thumping and vibrating down there, and just hang on tight, because big bass eat a spinnerbait hard at night. It is a lot of fun, and I've won a lot of tournaments on a nighttime bait just like this one. Now, I like to use a heavy action rod. I like to use like a 7-foot to a 7.3 heavy action rod typically. If you use rods that are, that company has just kind of their rods run a little heavy because there's no industry standards or anything, you could lighten it up and use like a medium heavy. But for me, heavy action is kind of perfect in that 7-foot to 7.3 length. As far as the reel goes, I want to use a pretty low gear ratio reel. Just kind of your standard bait casting reel, like a 6.2 to 1, maybe a 6.6 to 1, in that range. Somewhere in there will work good for you. You can get that bait down there. And if you have a high gear ratio reel, you're going to have a tendency to work this bait too fast. And keeping the nighttime spinnerbait near the bottom is really important to getting a lot of bites. Now, as far as the line goes, I know some friends of mine that they use braid, but I really like using fluorocarbon. And I use heavy fluorocarbon. At night, they're not going to be able to see your line. So you can get away with like 17 to 20 pound test, fluorocarbon line. And that fluorocarbon is important for me because I want to know if my blade is turning right. If you're ever working in your nighttime spinnerbait and you can't feel that blade thumping and vibrating, then there's something wrong. You got an issue with it. You want to, turn on your headlamp, check it out, make sure your swivel's working good so that blade's turning, and that's really important. And the fluorocarbon is going to let you be more efficient because you can feel exactly what that blade and that bait's doing down there on the bottom. And also, when that fish bites it with fluorocarbon, you're going to stick that fish. That hook's going to drive through the roof of their mouth almost every time, and you're not going to lose that many fish. So, you got to have the right setup with it, and you got to be careful when you're out there fishing at night. You want to have good lights, good headlamps and stuff like that. But give nighttime spinnerbait fishing a try, and you might get hooked on it just like I did.